This session was recorded over a year ago as part of the preparation for the upcoming book Alex Heintz and I are co-creating, Love of One, Journey to Remembering the Oversoul Descent. In this particular hypnosis session, we explore some of the most important pieces of our work, what ancestral wounding actually is, how it forms, and why these particular patterns loop throughout the body, the lineage, and the soul group. We talk about how these wounds are carried, not just through genetics, but in energetic blueprints, overlays, and the original architecture of the souls. This session also opens the door to a deeper topic, hybridization, and how it influences the emergence of the upcoming new human, ourselves, and how we evolve. We look at how different lineages, star codes, and ancestral frequencies merge within one body and what happens when those older patterns finally clear. If you're following the Rose Vault series or the development of this book, this is one of the sessions that lays the foundation for understanding ancestral healing, soul memory, and the mechanics of embodiment.
Calling forth the energy of Ma'at, this familiar energy that you can become aware of now. Notice how you experience the energy of Ma'at approaching you, coming into your awareness. And what's that like?
Soft, loving, and swirly, like her soft blanket again.
Feel this swirling, soft blanket of gentle, loving energy moving towards you, moving into. You feel the temperature of this soft, loving, gentle, swirling energy. As she approaches you, you hear the sound of her energy.
She says she's always with me, just hovering, always.
And what else does she have to say?
She likes experiencing what I'm experiencing here on Earth at this time.
And what does she like the most?
The connections I make with people.
And what is
Good or
that?
bad.
What is it about the connections with people she enjoyed?
She says the emotions, of course.
Oh, of course.
She likes how new emotions weave in and out, and how they grow and how they accumulate.
Mm-hmm.
She finds it interesting. A job that never stops growing, never stops expanding, never stops stretching.
And can you let her know that we're there about ancestral patterns and ancestral traumas, and that we'd like to explore that today?
Yes, she says there's a lot to explore.
Okay.
Many, many, many roads.
And I'd like to ask her, what would be the best way to explore this? Would a past life help explain this to us? Or would she like to just tell her?
She said it would be best explained if we try to walk way back all the way to the first Earth.
Okay. And so with Ma'at guiding you.
Yes, she keeps bringing up the Lyra.
Lyra.
I see Lyra.
Lyra. Okay. And tell me about that.
She'd like you to walk me back there.
Okay. Yeah, so moving back towards Lyran or Lyran with Ma'at guiding you there with your higher self, your higher knowing, guiding you back through time and through space, back to this time, this place of Lyra. You begin to feel yourself moving, maybe a pull or a force moving you back, moving through time and space towards this place. Feel yourself moving, being pulled, drawn back to where there's this information not guiding.
I'm being pulled into like another wormhole.
Okay.
I kind of feel like the G-force.
Know that this pull is pulling you to exactly where you need to be. Allow yourself to surrender to this force, this pull, moving back through this wormhole, moving faster and faster and faster through, experiencing yourself. You get a sense that you're nearing the end of the wormhole.
Yeah, I see it. It just spit me out. I see this planet and it has a pink and purple sky and lots of water and 3 moons or suns. There's suns and a couple moons. Beautiful. I've seen this in my dreams. And there's so many different species here. And there's unicorns and things flying around and mermaids swimming and lots of different colorful birds. I see dinosaurs roaming. Seems strange. Just seems like a planet full of anything and everything. Like everything's just thrown in one planet.
And where are you?
Sky is so pretty. I'm on the beach. I'm on the sandy beach. And the sand is like silk and really fine dust of sand. And the water is this turquoisey blue, like super turquoise, like unbelievable color. And the waves are white. They're just beautiful. The temperature is, it's nice. It's not too hot, which is weird because there's so many songs that seem, it's like perfect temperature every day. I don't see any clouds. Oh, this is Lyra. This is their planet. This is where I started my journey.
Lyra. And so feel your feet on that silky sand, feeling the temperature.
Wool feels so nice. Feels like gold.
And describe your feet. What are your feet like?
They're kind of wet
Mm-hmm.
with all this water. And I'm kind of bluish green. Oh my gosh. It's been in a dream before. Oh, my hands are not webbed, but they like can transform into something like that. Oops. I'm like, I'm the queen of everybody there. I look over everybody and I live on this beach that I dream of often. This is where my home is. This is me, mother of the universe, in my optimal physical form outside of my light body. This is where I usually go and what I usually embody as.
And can you describe more of what your body is like?
Yeah, it's a light blue, iridescent light with some green, but the green is more the iridescent part of it. And it's a gel-like feeling of body that moves and sways like water, but like a thick water, like a jello. And I'm tall. We're all about 7 feet tall. They have big eyes. Well, this is where most of my children are. That's where I see them all. They're on this planet waiting for me to call them for help. My hybrid children, you would call them. Oh my gosh, there's hundreds of them.
And who is needing help?
For ancestral healing,
Mm.
so much within my DNA from all of these activations or incarnations with all this seeding. And that's why my human form on Earth, I am working with the Syrians to collect my DNA for these children. And they play a large role in clearing ancestral trauma and bringing ascension to Earth, to the new Earth. There's hundreds of them.
Who plays the role?
Who what?
Who plays the role? The children or the Syrian?
The children. There's hundreds of them.
And
There's
so
852 of them.
okay.
And they all have my DNA. Strands of it. It's morphed strands of it.
And these 852 children, you said they're needing your help?
Yes, the Earth will need their help.
Earth will need their help. And what are they meant to do?
They're meant to assist in healing repeated traumas and getting Earth to her ascension process, raising vibration across Earth's energy grid to assist in the split of the Earth. They're all here at this planet I'm on, waiting, being taught how to be on Earth, being taught their gifts they're bringing to Earth and how to use them. They're being taught empathy and compassion and love. And they're being taught all of the seeds that are going to the new Earth. And they will not embody or reseeded the feelings or emotions that are not going to the new Earth. They are a new species of humans who do not embody or behold the negative emotions that are not moving to the new Earth. This is their importance. They are coming to the new Earth at its time of split to start a new species without the old seeds, but with all the new seeds or the golden seeds or the seeds that will go to the new Earth. They are the beginning of the new Earth.
And you said they're all your children.
They are all my children. 852 of them. There's some of you see them right now. They're all standing behind me.
Can you describe what they look like?
They look human, but with bigger eyes. They look kind of Palladian-like. But they're all different races and they're all different colors and all different shapes and all different sizes.
Mm.
The only distinction is their eyes. They're all a bit bigger, more round. Similar to how Angie's eyes are now, but bigger.
How
They're the most loving, caring, nurturing species.
Mhm.
They carry high vibrations that cannot be distorted. They transpire nothing but the pure love, unconditional love and gratitude. They radiate beautiful green in their auras like a beacon of light and hope. They're beautiful.
And how do you have 852 children? How did they come to be?
Yes, that's a good question. a series of abductions throughout my lifetimes incarnate on Earth's plane, working with the Sirian star systems and their species, experimenting with Earth and the new Earth, and how to weed out the greed and the fear and the negativity. Throughout all these lifetimes, being the theater of emotions, we've been able to encapsulate all of those different emotions, all different ways and probabilities and feelings, in all different forms, and all different forms of energy. When we meticulously take all of these different forms and experiment with them, mixing, as you would think, like a science lab experiment, mixing them in all different hybrid forms of emotions. When one experiences these different emotions, it shifts the DNA because it's just energy. And your DNA changes and transforms and manipulates itself into what you see, what you hear, what you touch, all your senses, what you experience in life, who you experience it with, how they experience it with you. And it shifts and alters your DNA. This also includes sicknesses, thought processes, and patterns, traumas. They all relate to each other. They all relate to emotions and energy. Over the course of all of these incarnations of my soul, my highest form of self, we've gathered all of these different emotional energy seeds, you will call it. In each incarnation, this soul experiences all different things, constantly shifting its DNA. The purpose of this soul, of which is incarnate now, but this soul, this oversoul, and all the oversouls it encapsulates into human form. The whole purpose of this soul is to reach a better day. You would say a newer day or brighter day. The complete soul growth of this soul is to understand love in its unconditional form through emotions, through DNA, through trial and error, through experiences with that all is hold for health in your DNA. So to answer your question of 852 children of which Angie's soul possesses and has, and why there are so many, her experiences of enlightenment, her whole soul growth is all about enlightenment for not just her, but all souls, for humanity, to a new species of human form, for a new earth, has always been the, shall we say, end game for this soul. So in every incarnation, that DNA is trying to get better and better. And you would call them abductions. This soul's incarnations have always been abducted to sample that DNA at certain touch points, certain points where evolution was happening, certain points where enlightenment within that soul's journey of that incarnation was coming on board, awakening. Those DNA samples are taken at certain times within those incarnations, lifetimes, and timelines to get to the point of where these 852 children will stand with their DNA of pure enlightenment, of pure unconditional love, gratitude form. It has been many lifetimes of experimenting with DNA samples of this body in human form and reality of Earth's current existence plane, with the end goal being a species of pure enlightenment, of oneness, but within the human form.
So you're saying, or are you saying abduction that we call them are when samplings have been taken to create the 852
Yes.
children. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what time is this happening during on Lyran? What time is it right now?
We don't have a time. Time is not a real thing.
Okay.
There is no time.
Okay.
We would say, to perhaps get closer to your question, we would say this is ongoing.
Mhm.
This soul, oversoul, constantly shifts back and forth. Now, even as we speak, this is why Angie often finds herself dreaming of the same place over and over and meeting her children over and over as she's going to the same place in her dream time. This soul of which you're talking to is our soul and is moving constantly between time frames, timelines, probabilities, all simultaneously. This is the journey of this soul. This soul is ever expanding. This soul is ever moving. This soul is never just in Angie's body at one point in time. This soul is everywhere at the same time and sometimes nowhere. This is all happening at the same time.
I see.
So time is nothing.
Mhm.
Time is irrelevant. It's all happening at the same point. This is where Angie gets all her downloads. It's all happening at the same time. It's all feeding into her as it is feeding into us and it's feeding into our oversouls at all the points.
Mhm. And how does this information and this knowing what you're sharing now, how does that relate to ancestral pattern and trauma?
Yes, ancestral patterns. Everyone's soul has an oversoul, and everyone's experiencing everything simultaneously at the same time. That is why you always feel connected with somebody else's ancestral trauma. We call ancestral, which is really you and your soul family at all different points of time within eternity. But when we talk about ancestral patterns and pain and trauma, we're really talking about those that have just incarnated in Earth. We're talking about Earth's ancestral traumas, not outer galactic ancestral. There is no such thing. It is only a term used for Earth.
Why does it only exist on Earth?
Because Earth is a forgettable planet.
What does that mean?
That means that inside Earth, when you incarnate as the human species on Earth, you forget where you've been before in the past outside of Earth's plane. If you were a galactic being in this moment, not incarnate in Earth species form, you would already know everything that's going on, what's happened to your soul family, and so forth. When you get to Earth, you forget, you don't know, your oneness is gone. You are in separational state. So ancestral, you do not understand what that means because you do not see it. You do not hear it like you would or like you used to in a galactic state. Yes. So that is why that term is only used in Earth when you are in a human species form.
Because of the forgetting.
The forgetting, the not knowing, the not seeing is believing, the not understanding, connecting the dots like a puzzle. It is only when one awakens they start to see the puzzle pieces, like you have, like Angie has in her human form. When you start putting the pieces together, then it all starts to make sense. And then everything starts to come into form, like dreams or synchronicities or people coming in and out of your life, pain points in your body, emotions, those things. When you start to awaken in your journey in Earth's plane is when you start to realize these traumas.
Mm.
Therefore, we call ancestral traumas. They're really your traumas of your life existence of incarnate. Me also joining with your soul family, as your soul family plays different roles within your incarnations. Yes.
Mhm.
It's a play. And then you mix up the characters for a new play, but you still have the same characters. They play different roles within your play that you're playing now.
Mhm.
And that is why ancestral traumas are given that name too. You may have been a grandmother of your daughter now, yes? Or you may have been a father of your sister now. If you start looking at that in that way, you are your own ancestral trauma. You have played those roles, and it's your trauma. So when we say you cleared your mother's ancestral trauma, it might have been you who was the mother in a previous life. And now you're playing the role of the daughter.
Mhm.
And how did I get this passed to me? It was yours to begin with. But your mother, maybe you cleared your mother's in this incarnate. Well, your mother may have been your daughter at one point, and you still share that DNA and that cross pattern of DNA when you incarnate as then her daughter. It's just cross patterning. Ancestral trauma, ancestral patterns are you and your traumas crossing lines with your soul family traumas, a different role you have played within your play of Earth over time.
Is your own soul ancestral trauma different from your soul family trauma? Is there a difference between that?
No,
Okay. It's all the
they are the same. Let's say collectively your soul family is a collection of 50 people. Think of every probability all 50 of you could have of roles of which you play. Then let's say your soul family has incarnated 80 times. Then that would say your soul family has played the same role a few times within those incarnates. And then your ancestral patterns keep building and your traumas keep building and they keep crossing each other's line paths. So when we say a chosen one within your soul family is the one to come and clear them, we're really saying you, one out of the 50 of you, is now here to say, we're done with this game. We need to clear all of these so we can move on. Move on to not being a human incarnate anymore. We are saying we are done with soul. We are done with this particular Earth soul's journey. We would like to move on to the new Earth or somewhere completely different. We would say, in a human sense, the buck stops here. Yet,
Yeah.
so the chosen one is the one in this final incarnate of your whole soul's family, final incarnate. This is the last round for all 50 of your soul family in our example. And the only one chosen to disregard or remove these seeds of this DNA, you would call it, yes, is the chosen one, the stronger of the bunch. We would say the strongest of the bunch of 50 is that who has learned all of the lessons, has finished Earth school. They are the designated of the black sheep, you would call it, yes?
And how did this ancestral trauma or ancestral patterns start to begin with?
They're accumulation of the first incarnate of your soul family. Experience, emotions. It's all emotions. It's a web of emotions, yes? Webbing out into various forms across your soul family. Your experience of these emotions, the experience of which you experience when you're in the Earth school, it's a web, cross-hatching web. It started when the human species started in this Earth, when the first seed of emotion was planted. Everything is trauma. It's not all bad. Some is good trauma. Trauma is trauma. Trauma gets a negative connotation here, but we would say trauma is experienced.
And what
Trauma is the negative word for experience. The emotion of trauma derived as a seedling off of the emotion of experience. That is how trauma arrived in its human form, you would say. It is an offspring of experience, like a dislike or a like. I dislike that experience, therefore it's traumatized to me. I like that experience, therefore I am happy. Emotional threads turn into webs. Emotions are fascinating.
and that sounds like judgment. How does judgment play in?
Judgment can be used in good and can be used in bad. Judgment is part of fear, but it can be healthy judgment of fear. Judgment of that person is holding a knife and seems angry today. I'm making a judgment with my fear that I probably should not walk in that direction, yes?
Mm-hmm.
That is how judgment should be utilized, how it was created to be utilized. But emotions have webs. That emotion went into a negative connotation as well. Polarity, right from wrong, left, right, above, below, judging correctly and judging incorrectly. Judgment upon others is negative. It is suggesting that you don't have enough, that you are lacking in some way or form. That judgment is incorrect. No one is lacking. Judgment used to assist in fear of keeping you safe is healthy, is positive. Judgment of others, criticizing those emotions is negative. When one makes a judgment to go in one direction or another, that is positive. There is uses for judgment, but there's uses that are not healthy for judgment.
And so going back to these ancestral patterns,
Yes.
what's the relationship between ancestral patterns and golden seed?
Yes. Those that are the black sheep, chosen one of the soul family, they encapsulate golden seeds. Golden seeds are merely gifts to be brought on board. They are seeds that are planted for healing gifts, you would say. These black sheep need these gifts so they can heal and move through these ancestral patterns, clearing this DNA, clearing those emotions, removing them. Yes. Therefore, that's why not everyone is awarded these golden seeds. We would say they are seeded, these golden seeds, as it was already predefined. They will be the chosen one from their soul growth patterns at the time of seeding these golden seeds. There were already what you would call a trajectory of where that soul was going based on that time and place of the experience of that soul at the time of seeding golden seeds. So when those seeds were seeded to these chosen ones, it was already noted and defined and planned that they would be the chosen ones for their soul family at this time. Therefore, those golden seeds, when ignited, will bring those black sheep, as you will, into full fruition of their gifts, into healing and clearing all of these said traumas in their negative form. Clearing the quote unquote ancestral patterns, repeated negative emotions, energies of their soul family. Getting rid of those so that when that black sheep passes through this incarnate and is done here in its human form, all of those soul family, including them, can then reach their soul's fullest potential. Some may choose to go to the new earth, which they will be cleared to do so, because they will be cleared from their energetic negativity, emotions. Yes. Whereas others from that soul group may decide to split away from the soul group once and for all and become an angelic realm or ascended master realm or wherever they choose to go. Your soul family runs through not your entire soul's lifetime growth potential, but your soul family is those who incarnate on earth. Your soul family is really your earth school family.
And how is it determined that someone is a black sheep and gets the golden seat?
Yes, through their experience and how fast their soul has grown through their experience on earth school at that time, but also in relation to galactic experience. So when some choose when soul groups are formed, they are formed from a collection of souls who have decided and predetermined the course of their incarnates and their lessons and what they want to try. Yes. Experience. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Based on their soul experience before they decide to be a soul group for X amount of experiences. They've already have collected experience before they decide to do a soul group. And then once they're in the soul group, their soul group family, those incarnations up to that point, also that experience through those incarnations collectively, added to their soul experience galactically before their soul family, helps determine who is best suited for the black sheep role.
Mm-hmm.
It's all based on experience. Similar to here on Earth incarnate now, if you in your lifetime now has 20 years experience in a particular career or field, then the rest of your peers would see you as the chosen one, a knowledge expert in that field. Yes, it's similar, just much grander scale.
Okay. And what time frame were these golden seeds planted?
In Egypt,
And why? Why then?
18th destiny, 18th to the 20th.
And why at that time?
That's when the change started and the shift occurred of we must do better. That is when other civilizations that were set on the same trajectory failed and crashed and imploded. Yes. That was a pivotal point in Egypt where we as a universe, really galactically and not, decided we need to do better and we need to set these seeds in place for where we know Earth is going and moving. And we know what emotions at that time already knew what we need to do. But as we have said in the past, once energy is created, you cannot destroy it. So we had to put a plan in place and a trajectory to decide who, when, why, where, how we were to slowly remove the seeds we did not want. Seeds of emotions we're talking about specifically. It takes time to move through that in Earth's time frame, in Earth's existence of time. Outside perspective looking in, outside of Earth looking into Earth, it doesn't take us that much time, but in your perspective, it takes long. Therefore, golden seeds at that time were purposeful in relation to time on Earth. That was the starting point of our trajectory for New Earth and removing of these seeds. It's a process.
And I'm curious also about the technical process of clearing pattern. Like, how does that work?
Very similar to what you see now, clearing bringing light to the darkness, facing head on the experiences in which fear controlled the soul. It's really fear is controlling the soul, negative energy and trauma, you would call. It's the fear. So removing the fear of all the experiences that one has witnessed, experienced. Yes. Once you look fear in the eye, he would say here, and say, you don't bother me anymore. I give you love, light, and forgiveness. I thank you for showing me the way. Then it clears that fear, which clears those patterns, clears that energy from your field and collective field. It's facing fear and not no longer being afraid of those quote unquote traumas you call. It's saying, I see you, I hear you. You no longer threaten me. I'm no longer afraid of you because I see the love in you, because we are all love. And it's turning that negative into a positive. It's turning the negative fear into a positive fear. Like in the example of judgment, judgment can be negative and it can also be positive. And what one is doing in clearing fear is turning it into a positive of love, dark, the light. Light is the positive of that emotion of dark. Yes, dark is the negative of light, emotion. It is no different from the example of judgment. Dark and light is just the polarity of the emotion. That is all it is. So when we say, go into the darkness to clear your trauma, all we are saying, we collectively as one, are pointing out, face your negative emotions and turn them into positive. That's all it is. Now, do you understand what this book is about? Not quite exactly. It's about making perfect sense of healing. Healing is really just turning your negativity into positivity in all aspects of your emotion. That is all it is. It's telling them in a simple form and putting reason behind it and putting history behind it they do not see in their books at this time. Or they see it and they read it, but it's not clear. It is in a foreign language. It is in a language they do not understand. It is hidden in riddles. It is hidden in messages. It is hidden in context of Bibles, but not clearly stated. This book is clearly stated. This book is for the 5-year-old who just wants to understand. This book is for the simpleton who may not really know how to read, but can understand simple words to understand that healing is really just making a positive emotion occur out of a negative emotion. That one can judge negatively, but one can also judge positively, which uplifts everybody, which uplifts the vibration, which uplifts love, which uplifts humanity, which uplifts the ascension of Earth. And that dark and light can exist, but when faced with it, light is always the better choice. Thinking positively is always the better choice. New Earth is all about positivity. There will be no negativity. So when we are explaining about the New Earth and this Ma'at, soul and energy, and Angie's energy, And everything about this soul in which she embodies and encompasses is all about ridding the soul of any negative influence so that it can go to the new earth where it's only positive, only. If this soul or other souls do not rid itself of negativity and negative energy within its soul's experience, then it cannot go, choose to go, be allowed into new earth, as negative energy still remains within its soul. So when we say we're healing earth, we're healing earth of its negativity.
How does polarity play into that, though? If you need to have polarity,
It will be some, but not in the context of the webbing that exists today. When you think of negative energy, everyone, it's so, the negative emotional energy has expanded far beyond where we thought it should go or we anticipated it to go. If you look at the million words that stem off of a negative expression or emotion, there are so many. There not need to be so many. That is why you see mental illness running amok on your planet today. The negativity is spiraling out of control. Fear, greed, desperation, judging others, criticizing, killing, wounding, abusing in all different directions. The polarity is out of balance. It is okay for balance, but when we say it's out of balance, we're talking about negativity is out of balance, overwhelming. When we say New Earth won't have negativity, we will have some negativity, but in the confines of our example of judgment, where we're using judgment in simple form, that's a positive form of making a good decision. Yes, yes. The healthy aspects of negativity.
it's just gotten too out of control.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. And is there anything else that's important to know about ancestral pattern, their ancestral healing?
We will say we gave a lot of information and hope that it makes sense. And hope that between the two of you, you can put it in a simple form. We know we don't talk normal. Yes. We would say that there's much change happening and occurring on your planet right now, even things you cannot see. But it is all very positive in the right direction. Even though it looks chaotic, it really is moving in the right direction. It's speeding up quicker than you feel. That is why there are more people coming on board now with their gifts. And there's more of a push to ignite these golden seeds. And just time in general is accelerating outside the confines of what you would call an earth. And just the galactic movement, it just is what we would say, you would say, is what it is. And that is why it is difficult to put time frames on things from our perspective for you when answering questions. And we would say that it's important that healers come online, that there's so much negative emotions for healers to overcome to become healers. And we are hoping this book will also help ignite those healers, give them the confidence and the knowledge. And knowledge is confidence that they can use to spring ahead who they are and their purpose and find that direction for themselves.